she indicted 19 people. A lot of them, obviously, in Trump's orbit, people he kept close, similar to the documents case, where you have these folks who worked directly with Trump, now also indicted. 19 people, including Mark Meadows. You've known Mark Meadows for years. We know a lot of these people. It is incredible the lengths to which their fealty to Trump, it appears to be endless.
I've known,
but maybe it stops here.
I've known most of these people for years. I mean, you and I known Donald Trump for 25 years, 20 years or whatever, since he was working at NBC on The Apprentice. I've known Mark Meadows, spent a good bit of time with him, talking to him, counseling him about the Freedom Caucus, saying, man, don't make it about Donald Trump or conspiracy theories. Make it about small government. Make it about responsible government. Make it about, having the local government do what they can. I mean, all of these, I'm sorry, these issues, like things that involved issues. Yeah. And same with Rudy Giuliani. We had Rudy Giuliani on the show before Trump really was rising. He was doing a hit for us. Donald Trump was running. Giuliani had yet to go full Trump. And off the set, Giuliani said, he's sort of an all or nothing guy. It just doesn't work. He said, I go into a room and I make deals with people and, everybody's happy if everybody wins. Donald Trump's the only person I've ever been into a room with where he's very upset if anybody else wins other than him. It's all or nothing. And Giuliani did not mean that as a compliment. But yet here we are, John Meacham, all of these people who, I've known a lot of these people who claim to be small government conservatives, claim to be champions of the Constitution, claim to be champions of the rule of law, claim to all of these things. And now they've scattered in the wind. But let's dig a little deeper, John, because it's not just the Trumpers. It's not just people who sucked up to Donald Trump for fame or money or power. What's been more disturbing to me since the last indictment has been the mainstream Republicans, sort of the Wall Street Journal editorial page Republicans, as well as the Wall Street Journal editorial page itself. Since the January 6th indictments, it seems that so many of these establishment Republicans who were anti-Trump Republicans are now deciding that they want to be anti-Trump Republicans. They want to strike out against the people who are trying to bring Donald Trump to justice, which they will tell you they know he should be brought to justice. And yet, I don't know. Maybe you can explain it to me because I don't understand. But this tribalism. Maybe he's an autocrat, and maybe I've said that he wants to destroy American democracy, and maybe I've said that he's a wannabe fascist, and maybe I've said that the very Constitution hangs in the balance, and what he did on January the 6th is the most unforgivable political sin of any. Maybe I've said all of that, but oh, my God, Jack Smith's indictment. Merrick Garland is a monster we really should be afraid of. I'm sorry. I wish there was a better word to use, but it's bullshit. And I'm not really sure how we move forward if that's what establishment Republicans who have been anti-Trump, if that's now their new pose, because they're getting pangs of tribalism.
That's the entire question right there. I call them Peter Millar vest Republicans. These are the folks who, as you just said, they want to move on from Trump. They tell themselves there were great policies, and they sort of get it, but they can't. There's something about the partisan brain, the partisan appetites anyway, that won't let them see that in a binary system, it may just be that the only way to keep moving forward with this experiment in trying to create a more perfect union is to vote for the Democrats. And I say that not as a reflexive partisan, right? And so I just think you've put your finger on it, right? And when I talk about are we up to this as a democracy, I don't really mean the 30%, the 34% who approved of Joe McCarthy even after Joe McCarthy had been censured. I think there's a delta in this of about 14 or 15%, right? 34% of the country, you can get to do anything. It's the fact that Trump keeps getting 48, 49%. And that number, that gap are the folks you're talking about. I spoke to someone whose name we would all know. I'll protect because it was a private conversation, not long after January 6th. And I said, somewhat casually, which I shouldn't have been casual about it, I said, you know, when they start trying to sack your Capitol, things tend not to go well, right? And this person, again, who would be known to everybody, said, well, if that was trying to sack the Capitol, they weren't very good at it, so I think you're overreacting. Really? Do you think the Capitol Police, families who mourn the loss of those officers, think that? You know, really? Is that the line you're going to draw? Right? Now, I was being overly clever. This person was being, you know, contrarian. But that, to me, that's the word. Why do we have to be contrarian to a fault? Why is it that the editorial page you're talking about, a lot of the folks that we know and like who are on the other side of this particular question, why do they have to take the opposite side simply because that's what their reflexive instincts tell them? Is it the point of the country? Is it the entire point of the United States that we're able to think beyond our appetites and our partisan dispositions? And if we don't do that, we aren't going to make it. And I don't mean to be alarmist at all. I've been accused by a lot of folks of being too much like Mr. Rogers, you know, that it's all going to work out. I tend to think it will, but it only will if the kind of people you're talking about, the Republicans that we know and that we personally like, but it's becoming ever harder to have anything resembling a political conversation with them. If those people don't put the Constitution first, then we may not make it. And I'm delighted to say that Mike Pence probably saved the Republic. But I don't want to always have to count on one person to do it.
With an assist from Dan Quayle.